Week 5 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few centers on the rise this week. The first guy is Nikola Vukovic, or the Orlando Magic. Vuk, he's been a great ball player this season and for many seasons in that case. But this year he's taken the next step for the Magic and fantasy owners. And on the year, 23 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.3 steals a game, 2.73, 79% from the foul line, and 50% from the field. So Vukovic, he's really stepping up on the season. He's number 2 ranked, and the last couple weeks he's the number 7th ranked player. But he's just putting up huge games every night, it seems like, is the Vuk. In the last few games, he's really on a tear. January 16th at Brooklyn, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, 6 threes. Then versus the Knicks on MLK Day, 24 points, 14 boards, 2 blocks, 2 threes. And then last night versus Minnesota, another huge game for Vukovic, 28 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 3 threes and 2 blocks. So Vukovic, he's doing everything. He's been a monster this season. And he's a guy, if you want to trade him, you could sell him high and get a whole lot of pieces, or a great one-for-one deal. But he's put on a tear. He's a player that gets better each and every season, and most owners this year got him in the 3rd or 4th round of their fantasy leagues. And right now, he's playing, obviously, like a top 5 player. Says Vukovic, he's definitely on the rise, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. The next center on the rise is Clint Capella of the Atlanta Hawks. Capella, he's been an absolute monster the last few weeks for this Hawk team. On the season, he's ranked 50th overall in fantasy basketball, but the last few weeks he's ranked number 21. So he's really jumping up the rankings and definitely on the rise. In the last couple weeks, 18.3 points a game, 15.2 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 2.2 blocks, 66% from the line, which that's his only downfall. He's not a good free throw shooter and he don't shoot threes, but a good field goal guy at 58%. So Clint Capella, he's on a tear, and he's been an absolute beast for this Atlanta Hawk team. And last night, it was just icing on the cake. A monster 2020 game, 27 points, 26 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 5 blocks for Clint Capella. He's being a terror on the boards and blocking shots as well. I don't remember the last time a guy had 26 rebounds in a game, and Clint Capella, he's all over the place, and he's been a monster for the Hawks and a monster for fantasy owners this year. And the Houston Rockets, they're probably kicking themselves for trading this guy last season for Robert Covington, who they just flipped in the offseason, because Clint Capella, he could have helped this Rocket team, obviously, last year. In the last couple games, it just seems like 20 and 15 plus rebounds each game for him. And Clint Capella, he's on a tear this year, so he's definitely on the rise. And he's averaging 14 rebounds on the season as well. And he's not slowing down anytime soon, I think. The next center on the rise, we're going to Houston, is Christian Wood. And Christian Wood, he's been surprising to me this year. He was going in about 5th or 6th round in most fantasy drafts, and I thought that was high. I thought last year with Detroit, it was just fluky, because Detroit, they didn't really have anybody on that team, and Wood was the last man standing and impressive. But this guy, he got a big contract in the offseason, and he deserved it. Christian Wood this season is having a great year, and he's definitely on the rise. He's ranked number 30th this season, but the last few weeks, he's really putting up big numbers, 25 points a game, 13 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and now he's getting better at the three-point line as well. He's got 2.8 threes a game, 2 blocks a game, 60% from the line, which hurts, and 52% from the field. So he's ranked number 27th in the last few weeks and 30th on the season. And Christian Wood, he's been a monster. And Houston now, after trading James Harden, Wood, he's going to be the first or second best guy on the team. John Wall, he's been banged up. DeMarcus Cousins, he hasn't shown much. And Victor Oladipo so far in his first 2 games with the Rockets, he's been playing well though. But Wood, he's not going to slow down. And he's a double-double each and every game pretty much here for the Rockets and fantasy owners. And he's on the rise. The 4th center on the rise is Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. Adebayo, he was out for a week or 2 as well with the virus. But Bam, he's come back with a vengeance here over the last couple games. He came back January 16th, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks. And then versus Detroit on the 18th, 28 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. And then last night he had another great game, 14 points, 13 boards, 7 assists. And he shot 42% from the field, which wasn't great, but he was 100% from the line. So Adebayo, he's coming back, and he's looking strong, man. 39th ranked on the season, and the last few weeks overall, he's ranked 25th. So he's helping this Heat team. He's helping fantasy owners, and he's moving up the rankings. And the fifth and final center on the rise is Deandre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns. Ayton, he was struggling early in the season with his scoring, but the last few games now, he's getting things going, is Ayton. Since the Suns came back from the hiatus after a few of their games have been postponed. On the 18th versus Memphis, 18 points, 16 boards, 3 assists and a block. And then last night versus Houston, a huge double-double. 26 points, 17 boards, 3 assists, and 5 blocks. So Deandre Ayton, he was drafted in most fantasy leagues, second round about. And now he's getting into form here. Maybe he needed time off. Maybe he needed to adjust things. But over the last few weeks now, he's really moving up the ranking board. He's 54th on the season. And in the last week now, he's the 8th ranked best player in fantasy basketball. So Deandre Ayton, if you didn't trade him, if you didn't just give him up for anything and you waited on him, he's on the rise for sure now. And that's a few centers on the rise here in week 5 of the fantasy basketball season.